Hello, my name is Bradley and I'm your host of The Internal Game. Okay, so one of my favorite spiritual teachers, Alan Watts, had a quote that was kind of responsible for me really looking at my life a little bit differently and definitely it played a part in me naming this channel The Internal Game. And he said, man suffers because he takes seriously what God made for fun, right? And all suffering is attachment. That's what it is. It's an attachment to thoughts. It's an attachment to people, places, things. Attachment thinking that like, oh, this is what's keeping me happy, what's going to make me happy. And that's pretty much all that it is. So when we can stop identifying with our mind, right? Like I would say, just a thought, just a thought, just a thought. That's just a thought. Or you get the emotion and you feel it and you just let it go, right? You don't need to resist it and come up with stories as to why it's there, who's responsible, who's to blame, all that stuff. And you kind of just like start working with yourself instead of against yourself. These attachments to people, places, things naturally start to drop away. And then you can actually enjoy them and they can actually become preferences instead of like something that you actually have to have, right? So then you can play the game. Right? I mean, you're always playing the internal game, but like it's you know what I'm saying. So I want to talk about something like that I want you guys to try out for the next week, right? Just the next week. I want you to live. First of all, you're always living internally, right? Always. It may seem like you're not because like, oh, I'm trying to manipulate the outside or I'm really focused on person, whatever. But like all your thoughts, all your feelings, all that stuff, all your little meanings that you're giving to things, your state of being is internal. It's internal. And so whatever you're doing internally is being expressed. And of course, if you have created something you don't want and then you're focused on it out there and you keep creating the same thoughts and feelings and buying into it, all that good stuff and the same assumptions about out there, then it just stays, right? But it's still all being done internally. So this week, I want you to focus more on your actual internal experience and just kind of drop in what's going on out there. Because I promise you, if you have found yourself on, especially this channel, you have some kind of idea, some kind of belief in this idea that it's inside first, outside second. And if you're still trying to manipulate the outside, and if you're still really focused on outside and person and bank account, all that stuff, if you're still doing that, then I want you to prove this to yourself. That it's inside first, outside second. I want you to prove it in a more favorable light. I want you to be able to drop everything for like just a week and focus on your state of being solely. Like, and actually work with yourself, not against yourself. And what that means is like, if you are used to obsessing over a person or getting that promotion or, I mean, honestly, you name it. Like if you're used to like your brain's just constantly thinking about this stuff, then I want you to really start to take a look at this and ask yourself, like, is this helping me? Like, I have a desire, so I'm saying I want something. Like, does my state match this? Or am I obsessing over the distance and the lack and the doubt and the fear, right? So if you are, you need to get a look at this and take an honest assessment. And then we need to get back to self. We need to get back to a solid, calm state of being, right? And we're going to do this by not believing every thought that we get. I can't stress the importance of just observing thoughts and realizing that they're just thoughts. Something I learned from Eckhart Tolle a long time ago, where he said, ask yourself, what is my next thought? Because if you do this, like, well, I wonder what my next thought's going to be. What's my next thought? Then you become an observer instead of just getting bombarded with thought, right? And then if you're used to believing all of them, then you're just shoot everywhere, chaotic, right? Then you're doing that internally, and then of course the outside looks chaotic too, right? So we want to stop believing every thought that we get. We want to start saying like, oh, what's my next thought going to be? Let's start watching our mind, because that's exactly who you are. You are the actual watcher of the mind. You are not the mind. And because you think you're your mind is exactly why you're spiraling, is exactly why you think you need somebody to complete you, is exactly why you're looking at your bank account thinking, holy this is never going to work. All this stuff. It's because you're identifying with thoughts, because you are believing that you are your mind and you're not. So we want to start getting a grip on who we actually are. Right? We want to start really starting to come into this knowing. Because again, like I've talked about, the mind saying that it's God, right? Oh, I'm God, I'm God, I'm God. It's just an egotistical way of saying, like, I am God, right? It doesn't know what that means. The mind does not know what that means. When you start being the watcher of the mind, when you start putting your energy in your body, realizing the vastness of you, the deepness of you, the wholeness, completeness that exists right here, right now. And then that wanting feeling goes away, that lack feeling goes away, that desperation feeling goes away, because here you are, right here, whole and complete, right? And then you can watch a thought and it's, oh, that's just a thought, that's just a thought. And now this stability that you thought was in person's pocket or in the bank account is right here, right now within you. This is the be still and know that I am God. This is what and who you actually are, right? And then from there, we can have preferences, right? But we want to get out of mind and that chaotic, incessant thinking that we're just attaching to and latching onto all day, every day, creating the same experiences, being fearful, dreadful, feeling hopeless, all that stuff. So we start there. Do that for a week. Like, stop trying to manifest a person for a week. Stop trying to manifest whatever for a week. I know it seems a little scary, but it's only scary because you keep believing you keep believing your thoughts, right? And then on top of this, actually, let's not just do that for the week, right? Start there, get stable, and then actually enjoy your day. Like, do some things like that you like to do. Like that time that you spend watching a trillion videos trying to manifest person, like, go do something that you like to do. Or write, or read. You should even make your own video if you actually like stuff like that. Who knows? But like something that is in favor of you instead of you trying to attain something. Because there's nothing to attain outside of yourself. And again, man suffers because he takes seriously what God made for fun. Like, think about it. If you were actually whole and complete right here, right now, which you are, and you're going to realize this once you start getting out of the mind, putting your attention in your body, breathing, focusing on the energy inside. Oh, that's just a thought. That's just a thought. Oh, I wonder what my next thought's going to be, and becoming this presence, because that's exactly what you are. If this is who you are, what's there to really suffer about? Nothing. What's there to really want and wait for? Nothing. And then, of course, because state of being is king, when you're from this more whole, complete state of being, guess what starts to be more whole and complete? Your reflection. The things that you like start to shape into this. The things that were only there because you were fearful start to shape into this. Or they drop away. But nonetheless, it's all reflection out there. So you want to spend the next week more concerned about what's going on internally than externally. And this includes not reacting. Because if you have found yourself on this channel and you have some type of belief that it's inside first, outside second, then that means that, like, what's going on here is the real thing. Out there is a reflection. So, like, why keep reacting to the reflection if what you're doing in here is what's true? And of course, if you're reacting to it, you're saying it's true, put a bunch of emotional connection to it, then it's going to stay. Whatever it is that you're reacting to, person's behavior, scenarios at work, what have you, fill in the blank, you know what you react to, it's going to stay if you keep doing that, because again, your attention is going to go where your emotions are. So we want to get a handle on our thoughts and our emotions, because and we want to realize that, oh, hey, I'm right here, right now. But that's just a thought. Or maybe you get an emotion that gets triggered up, right? And then you just sit with it, breathe into it, and then let it go. It's your resistance to it that keeps it there. It's you saying that you shouldn't feel this way that keeps it there. It's you making stories in your head and thoughts and believing them that why it should be there, who's responsible, all that stuff that keeps it there. It's just an emotion. It's not bigger than you. They're just thoughts and emotions. They're not bigger than you. It's just circumstances out there. It's not bigger than you. It is you. So ideally, we want to get ourselves stable, get ourselves like free of mind chatter for a little while and not believing every thought. You can do this fairly fast by just like recognizing the insanity of it and be like, okay, well, that's just a thought. That's just a thought. I don't have to buy into that. I don't have to believe it. That's just a thought. Just a thought. Oh, feeling a little. That's okay. It's just an emotion. Just an emotion. Nothing to fear. Just an emotion. And then it'll pass. And then you can say, oh, cool. What am I going to do today? I'm not going to obsess over a person because that's why would I do that? I'm not going to obsess over manifestation content and trying to find just that one video that really gets me in, because like we can even fall victim to that too, because I've done that where like I feel a high off of watching a video. I'm like, I got it now, I got it. And then a few hours go by and I fall back down, boom, back into another video. Again, nothing wrong with staying in the communities and things like that and watching videos to be inspired. Kind of just keep it in your awareness, but to use it as a crutch, it's no different than anything else. So anyway, man suffers because he takes seriously what God made for fun. You are suffering because you are literally buying into something that isn't you. And buying into this illusion and this idea that something outside of yourself can complete you and make you feel whole when it can't. So that's why you suffer. Because really what God made for fun is us to remember who we are, right? Come back to this knowing of, oh wow, we are God. Oh wow, I'm whole and complete just like I am right now. I don't need to chase or grasp at anything and be desperate. And then from there, you can actually have preferences about how you want things to go. You can actually, I actually like that person. I want to have some experiences with this person. Oh, hey, I want to start my own online business because like that seems really fun and cool for me to do. Oh, hey, I want to be this or that. I want to do this and that. But nonetheless, it's coming from a place of fullness and wholeness because you know who you are. So this week, remember who you are by getting out of the mind. The mind is not who you are. Just a thought, just a thought, just a thought, just a thought. Oh, that's an emotion. Oh, okay, all right. Whew. Let it pass. Now you're stable. If you're only unstable because you're buying into every thought that you get and resisting an emotion that's just an emotion, then what happens if you don't buy into thoughts and don't resist the emotions? Then you're stable. Solution, right? And then you can say, oh, cool. Like I don't really feel fucking desperate anymore, so I can actually enjoy my day. From this place, your entire life will change. You have to be willing to take that to make that bet on you, and drop this idea that like you have to be focusing and obsessing over personal time. What have you been getting while you've been doing that? How does it feel? Number one, because you're creating an internal experience of just chaos, the same way you did before you caused the unwanted circumstance on the outside. You were doing that within first. Now you want to go to the solution. Master yourself. Stop buying into every thought and emotion. Just let them be. Let them come, let them go. They're not you. So why the do we need to latch onto them, attach to them? They're not us. We let them go. And then we enjoy our day. We'll find something to do. Or not do anything. But whatever you do, you don't obsess over a person. You don't obsess over something. Because the wholeness, the completeness, the stability is within. The love is within. And if you operate like this for a week and just enjoy your life, play the internal game, focus more on what's going on internally than externally, not reacting. Oh, that's something that popped up. Oh, that's probably from a previous state. I get that. No big deal. I play the internal game. I'm gonna yeah, it's not the most ideal, but hey, it is what it is. Like I get that I created it. I see it. But now it's like this. Because I know it's the internal game. And whatever I'm doing in here will be reflected. Like you want to start maneuvering yourself like this, where you're not scared of thoughts, you're not scared of emotions, you're not scared of circumstances. Because why would you be? So, play the internal game this week. Focus more on the inside. because it really is inside first, outside second. But like, these are, if we don't really put it to test, like Neville says, be doers of the word. If we don't really put it to test, then a lot of times, just by default, we're gonna be like, okay, I believe it because I can see where I messed up at. I can see this, right? But then if you see where you messed up at and you think it came from your internal state, then at the same time, why would people ask? I did it too. Do you think this is possible that I get this? Do you think it's possible that this happens? Do you think that this is gonna work? How much do you really buy that it's inside first, outside second? Like, eventually you have to really step into that role and say, okay, I know inside first, outside second, that my reality is actually my state of consciousness. And then out there is a projection of that. It's a reflection of that. That's it. And if you know this, you can actually start having fun. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit challenging at first to say that's just a thought and kind of get, because you have so much momentum going the other way, but who cares? It has to get done. Like, who cares? I promise you, that little bit of challenge at the beginning of watching thoughts and not attaching to them like you're used to, and making a different decision in the moment to not believe every thought that you get, and not resist an emotion and just say, oh, that's just an emotion, and let it go. Like, that bit of a challenge that it can be is way easier than you staying in the chaos, even though it's familiar. So, yeah. That's all I got. Play the internal game this week. Focus inside. Don't believe every thought. Don't resist emotions. Just let them come, let them go. Same way you do happy emotions. And shift your focus to you. Shift your focus to like things that you like to do, goals that you want to work after, and most importantly, do not fall for the illusion that you have to be thinking about person or whatever it is that you're trying to get all the time, or you're going to lose it. You can't lose it. They are you. All you're doing is creating a different experience with this person. Like, you always have them, whether they're being distant or whether they're being close. You always have them, whether they're not talking to you or whether they're talking to you. You're creating the actual experience with them. That's it. But you didn't lose them. You just have a different experience. That's it. See you guys soon.